Hello students, this is Dr. Rajneesh Kumar, Associate Professor in Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida. So, students, I am again in front of you with some interesting topics of Unit 4 of Pharmaceutical Organic Chemistry 1, subject code is BP2022. Okay. So, today's topics mainly having Cannizzaro reaction and cross Cannizzaro reaction, Cannizzaro reaction and cross Cannizzaro reaction. So, without starting today's topic, I just want to remind you about the topics which we have covered till now. We have covered the introduction of carbonyl compounds, we also covered about the chemical reactions of the carbonyl compounds, we covered about the method of preparation of the carbonyl compounds. Then we have also seen the qualitative test which we have used for the identification of, and you can also show the differentiation in between the carbonyl compounds. And in our last lecture, we have discussed about the very important aldol and cross aldol reaction. Okay. So, dear students, when I am talking about the Cannizzaro reaction as well as cross Cannizzaro reaction, I just want to tell you that these reactions also having the same reaction mechanism. Okay. How? These reactions also taking place in the presence of a base, for example, sodium hydroxides. The only difference is in Cannizzaro reaction, it is a self redox reaction. Okay. Means we are having two same types of aldehyde, and the most important thing is that aldehyde should not having alpha hydrogen. Okay, students. So, with this initial introduction, I just want to start cross Cannizzaro reaction. So, Cannizzaro reaction named after its discoverer, that is Stanislav Cannizzaro. It's a very good scientist. One more thing, Cannizzaro reaction is also an example of disproportionation reaction. Disproportionation reaction means self redox reaction, means it is also possible that oxidation and reduction is can be possible in the same molecules. Okay. So, this is the example of disproportionation reactions or self redox reaction of aldehydes lacking a alpha hydrogen atom. So, now please focus, aldehyde which is lacking a alpha hydrogen atoms in presence of a strong base to form salt of acid and a primary alcohol. So, whereas in aldol condensation we are getting aldol, okay, hydroxy substituted products, here we are getting salt of an acid and primary alcohol as a product. So, this is a disproportionation reaction, or you can say self redox reaction of aldehyde which are lacking alpha hydrogen to give a salt of acids and the primary alcohol, and this reaction is known as Cannizzaro reaction. Thus, aromatic aldehydes means like benzaldehyde, like this. Alpha carbon is there, but that carbon does not have any hydrogen, means no alpha hydrogen presents. So, aromatic aldehydes like formaldehyde, if we are talking about SCHO, no alpha carbon is there, no alpha hydrogen is there. Trialkyl acetaldehydes, triacetaldehyde is also not having any alpha hydrogen. Heterocyclic aldehydes, all these which are not having any alpha hydrogen undergo Cannizzaro reaction. Okay. The example, as you can see, benzaldehyde do not have any alpha hydrogens. So, 2 moles of benzaldehydes when reacted with each other in the presence of base like NaOH, we are getting 1 molecules of alcohol like benzyl alcohols and 1 molecules of carboxylic acid salt like sodium benzonate, because we are using sodium hydroxide. If we are using potassium hydroxide, we can have potassium benzoate, okay, as a carboxylic salt. For example, formaldehyde, no alpha hydrogen is there, formaldehyde, no alpha hydrogen is there. In the presence of strong base like NaOH, we are getting methyl alcohol, methanol, okay, and a salt of carboxylic acid, because formaldehyde is being used, we are getting formic acid salt, okay, of sodium, okay, sodium salt, or you can say sodium salt of formic acid. Here benzaldehyde is being used, we are getting sodium salt of benzoic acid. Okay. You can see CONA, C6H5 CONA. So, again I am repeating, compounds having aldehydes having no alpha hydrogen get condensed in the presence of NaOH to give one molecule of alcohol and one molecule of salt of an acid. Okay. Now, so you can see general mechanism or general reaction. Aldehyde is there, please focus, no alpha hydrogen, okay, no alpha hydrogen must be present. In the presence of base, we are getting carboxylate anion, which ultimately gives salt, okay, and we are getting alcohol. This is a general reaction for the Cannizzaro reaction. So, let us talk about the mechanism. So, in the first step, nucleophilic addition of an hydroxyl anion to the first aldehyde molecule gives a tetrahedral intermediates. So, if you remember the mechanism of aldol, okay, the aldol reaction was carrying out in the similar manner. Okay. So, you can see what is happening actually. The electrons become attracted by the more electronegative oxygen atoms. Okay, this carbon become positive charge. As soon as this carbon become positive charge, this negative charge hydroxyl will be added to this positive charge carbon atoms. Okay. So, this is one of the two aldehyde molecules which we are using in Cannizzaro reaction. Okay. So, concentrated alkali is being added to the first molecules of the aldehydes which we are using. So, we are getting a tetrahedral intermediate 1. I told you the same reaction mechanism we are using in the nucleophilic addition reaction. Okay. Nucleophilic addition reaction. This is acting as a nucleophile, positive charge is there, nucleophile will be added to this carbon. Okay. So, carbonyl hydroxide anion or aldehyde hydroxide adduct. Okay. We can say that again sp2 hybridized. Now, it is sp3 hybridized. This is trigonal planar structure, this is tetrahedral structure, intermediate 1. Okay. In the next step, hydride shift occur, a tetrahedral intermediate 1. This is now this will donate one hydrogen here, this you can see. Okay. It will donate, or you can hydrogen we should use the hydride, it will donate the hydride ion as a leaving group and is thereby oxidized. As you can understand, S removal of H is known as the reduction. So, hydride ion is going away from this particular intermediate 1. So, that particular intermediate 1 is now getting oxidized. Okay. A second aldehyde molecule accept the hydride ion in another nucleophilic addition step and thereby reduce. So, you can see oxidation of intermediate 1 occur, okay, while the reduction of second aldehyde molecules occur in one step. This is why this particular Cannizzaro reaction is known as the redox reaction. Okay. And ultimately, we are getting this product. Okay. So, H is being moved towards this because of the positive charge obtained on this carbon, okay, because the attraction of these electron towards the oxygen. Okay. So, this negative charge is there and this hydrogen is added to this, and what happened there? There is a negative charge. When this hydride ion transferred to this carbon become positive, and at that time these electrons will be utilized to form a bond in between this oxygen and this carbon. So, there is a formation of a double bonds. Okay. Ultimately, this negative charge will attract another hydrogen and convert it into the alcohol, okay, while this hydrogen will be removed, okay, converted into the negative charge. That negative charge ultimately going for a salt formation. This hydrogen went to this oxygen, ultimately this is converted into alcohol and this molecule is converted into the salt of carboxylic acid. Okay. Now, some important points which you should remember, that due to the strongly alkaline reaction conditions, aldehyde that have alpha hydrogen atoms instead undergo deprotonation there, leading to the enolate and possible aldol reaction. Important points hai. Okay, if we are using aldehydes which is having alpha hydrogen, okay, at that time instead undergo Cannizzaro reaction, it will undergo aldol condensation reaction. So, ultimately it must be taken care that aldehyde used for the Cannizzaro reaction must not have any alpha hydrogen. So, under ideal condition the reaction produce only 50% of the alcohol and the carboxylic acid. It means the efficiency, or you can say atom economy of the reaction is very much less at that time. Okay. In ideal conditions only 50% of alcohol and the carboxylic acid can be obtained by this reaction. Okay. This is drawback of this reaction. So, what should we do? So, to avoid this low yield, it is more common to conduct the cross Cannizzaro reactions in which a sacrificial aldehyde is used in combination with a more valuable chemical. So, again we will go for the cross Cannizzaro reaction, in which we see that how can we overcome this particular you can say drawback of that Cannizzaro reaction, in which we are getting only 50% of alcohol and the carboxylic acid salts. So, now we will go for the you can say cross Cannizzaro reaction and we will see that how happening. So, now again when we use cross Cannizzaro reaction, so what happens? The reductant is formaldehyde, which is oxidized to sodium formate, and the other aldehyde chemical is reduced to the alcohols. In that particular scenario, each of the two separate aldehydes can be converted completely to its corresponding product rather than the losing 50%. So, when again I am just making a reminder, when we using formaldehyde as one of the aldehyde or one of the substrate in cross Cannizzaro reaction, okay, at that time one is formaldehyde and second aldehyde is something different. Okay. At that time both the aldehydes mean one is formaldehyde and second is another. Okay. Both the aldehydes can be converted completely to the corresponding products, means one is converted into the 100% carboxylic acid and second is converted into the 100% alcohol. Okay. Because of that the yield of that cross Cannizzaro reaction will be very high. Okay. Now, these are the examples of Cannizzaro reaction. You can see benzaldehyde is being used, no alpha hydrogen presents, formaldehyde is being used, no alpha hydrogen presents, 2,2-dimethyl propanol is being used, no alpha hydrogen is used, no alpha hydrogen, all of three no alpha hydrogen is in the structure of those compounds. A strong base like NOH is present, then acid is also there because of the its utilization in the last step. Okay. And we are getting 1 mole of alcohol. In case of benzaldehyde it is benzyl alcohol, in case of formaldehyde it is methanol, in case of 2,2-dimethyl propanol it is 2,2-dimethyl 1-propanol. So, 1 mole of alcohol is obtained and 1 mole of acid, or you can say salt. When salt of carboxylic acid is undergoes hydrolysis in the presence of this dilute acid, it is converted into the acid. So, you can think कि भैया ये salt से acid कैसे बन गया, ठीक है. तो please see, we also written here as 3O plus, means we are using dilute acid for the hydrolysis of that particular salt which is obtained in the Cannizzaro reaction. Because of that ultimately we are getting acids in the last of the reaction. So, benzoic acid, formic acid and 2,2-dimethyl propanoic acid is now will be obtained in in Cannizzaro reaction. Now, come to the cross Cannizzaro reaction, which we have which I have told you that is very important to improve the efficiency and the yield of the reaction. So, in general, a mixture of aldehydes undergoes a Cannizzaro reaction to yield the all possible products. Okay. Now, if one of the aldehyde is formaldehyde, as I told you, the reaction yield almost exclusively salt of formic acid, means 2 aldehydes out of which one is formaldehyde. So, that formaldehyde always gives salt of formic acid, and the second aldehyde molecules which is being used in cross Cannizzaro reaction will produce alcohol. Okay. As I told you, alcohol corresponding to the other aldehydes, such a reaction is called cross Cannizzaro reaction. If two different aldehydes having no alpha hydrogen, it is called cross Cannizzaro reactions. Okay. Formaldehydes will be using to just enhance the yield of the product. Okay. Now, here you can see general reaction of the cross Cannizzaro reaction. Okay. So, benzaldehyde is reacting with the formaldehydes in the presence of a strong alkali like concentrated NaOH. We are getting benzyl alcohol. So, it is clearly indicated that it comes from the benzaldehyde, while formaldehyde is converted into the sodium formate, salt of carboxylic acid. Okay. How the reaction occurs, what is the mechanism? So, you can see here, this is the formaldehyde, OH minus comes from the strong base which we are using NaOH. Okay. So, in the first step, these electrons will go toward the more electronegative oxygen. Okay. This carbon become positive charge. At that time, that negative charge hydroxyl ions will attack on that particular positive charge carbonyl carbon. Okay. We are getting this molecules. Okay. Enolate ions is being formed. In the next step, hydride transfer is taking place, means one hydride ion from one molecule to another molecules of the aldehyde which is being used. In case of this reaction, this is benzaldehyde, this is benzaldehyde. Okay. So, hydride ion transfer is taking place from the enolate ion to the benzaldehyde. So, this hydride, this bond is broken and this hydride ion is being transferred on this carbon, and how it is possible? Because this oxygen is again attracting electrons. Okay. This positive charge will be generated on this carbonyl carbon. At that time, this H minus will be going towards this positive charge carbon atoms. Okay. We are getting these products. In the next step, proton exchange occur, means this hydrogen will go towards this oxygen, this oxygen get negative charge. Okay. That negative charge very important, because this is the only way we are getting the sodium salt of carboxylic acid. In case of sodium formate we are obtaining, and along with the benzyl alcohol. When this hydrogen molecules, hydrogen atom comes to this negative charge oxygen, we are getting benzyl alcohol, and this is converted into the salt, or you can say formate anion. Then the next important is intramolecular Cannizzaro reaction. So, intramolecular Cannizzaro reaction have been frequently studied as a models for the reaction occupying within the enzyme substrate complex. So, at that time this is very important, and when I am talking about intramolecular Cannizzaro reaction, means the redox reaction, means reduction and oxidation is possible in the same molecules. As you can see there, we are using the phenyl glyoxal to show this reaction. Here you can see OH minus is there, it is attacking on this. So, negative charge will be generated on this oxygen atom. In the next step, these electrons move towards here, and this carbon become positive charge, you can see here. Okay. This oxygen become negative charge, this is positive charge, this is already negative. Okay. In the next step, this is the important step, 1,2 hydride shift, means this is shifted from this carbon, one carbon to the second carbon. Here you can see, here minus H will be moved towards this carbon. So, this carbon become neutralized. Okay. In the next step you can see what is happening. These electron will be utilized to form a double bond here. So, double bond will be formed. In the next step proton transfer occur from where? From this oxygen to this oxygen. So, this O minus become OH and this OH become O minus. So, ultimately we will get 2 hydroxy 2 phenyl acetate as a products as intramolecular Cannizzaro reaction. Then come to the application parts, very important reaction. The combination of cross Cannizzaro reaction and aldol condensation is used in the industry to prepare polyols, very important molecules. Okay. Polyols are very useful and finds many industrial application. For example, neopentyl glycols is being used polyester of resins, which is being used in airplanes or boat manufacturings, varnish coatings, synthetic lubricants and plasticizers. The neopentyl structures provide excellent resistance to the light, heat and hydrolysis. So, very important molecules. Okay. So, this is the structure of one of the important molecules, that is neopentyl glycols, which is an example of polyols. So, cross Cannizzaro reactions and aldol condensation combination can be used to prepare the polyols. So, I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. So, in the next lecture we will discuss some another name reaction. Till then, thank you so much students, take care, all the best.